Kedah-based property player Eupe Corporation Berhad wants a slice of the KL market, but how does it plan to hold its own against the more established heavyweights in the capital city? We asked MD Datuk Huck about his game plan. In the property game, reputation is everything. You are sort of quite new in KL, right? You have 3 projects already, but you're competing with all the big boys in KL. How are you faring so far?
We fare relatively well, I think. The take-up rate of Park 3 and Novum, they are both the projects are actually breaking what we have expected it to perform. KL is a very big market. We are actually taking only a very small percentage of market share. Yep. Being new to the market actually gives us a certain advantage because we can look at things from a different perspective. I mean, of course, KL is quite different from Kedah, but it doesn't mean that everything is different. It forces us to be more innovative. I believe a lot of people also see certain merits in what we are trying to do.
You've launched Novum, Park 3. How's the take-up rate? And how much more do you think you can grow? Because it's such a saturated, a lot of people say it's a saturated market here in KL.
Novum, we have hit more than 94% take-up rate already. And Park 3, even though we have just recently launched it, more than 40% of the units has been booked, which we are very happy about it. In the property market, I would say a lot of products are fairly similar. And every market is slightly different. Every group of buyer, they are different. For instance, every time we look at a particular project, we like to use a top-down approach. We look at the place, we see what kind of things or what kind of facilities will complement what the local demand is. And we are very specific of who we sell to. We try to enrich the environment as well as make the living experience more pleasant to the people who buy from us. So this will take us away from addressing only very short-term kind of market fluctuation and trends.
You've gone from your maiden project, Taman Ria project, to Sky Residence, to now you have 3 residential projects in KL. What's your growth strategy?
Northern region was the fundamental to all how we started, and it will continue to be an important part of the UP. Well, township development does require certain skills and criteria that's different from development in KL. However, I do not necessarily see these two to be mutually exclusive. We do need to have specific team with special skills to address the different market. Urban migration is a global trend.
Correct, yes.
In Kedah, we are definitely one of the bigger boys, so it does have a certain ceiling as to how far and how fast we can grow. I believe the diversification strategy will give me both the advantage of risk diversification as well as the possibility of long-term sustainable growth.
Now, in your high-rise projects, we see this effort to basically tailor-make, right, a neighborhood within a residential building. Is that how you differentiate yourself from other property developers?
More than just appreciation, more than just a beautiful kind of structure, it has to be livable. So everything that we talk about on our principles of putting ourselves in their shoes and thinking of what can make their lives better, that is important to us. Of course, building a community is what we have been doing in the past. When we talk about township development, it basically makes it compulsory for you to allow everyone to live together happily and effectively and efficiently. When you are talking about a high-rise, you are actually squeezing more people within a much more confined kind of space. Correct. So building this community is a requirement. It's not something that we can exclude ourselves from, but we try to do more.
Where do you see the overall property scene in the next few years, and what's your game plan in KL and Northern divisions?
I think Malaysian market, we had a very strong consolidation post 2015. The consolidation is required. However, despite the credit consolidation, the weak petrol price, commodity price, the competition with a lot of other countries with cheaper labor and things like that, the Malaysian market is still fairly resilient. I think post 2018 or later part of 2018, we should see a recovery. However, as in any other recovery, the initial stage, you see a lot of volatility. You see a lot of fear in the market.
Now you've penetrated the one of the biggest markets here in Malaysia, which is KL. Are you planning to look south in Iskandar or even Penang?
I hope one day we can venture there as well. I mean, but things have to be taken one step at a time. Hopefully, with a stronger team, I can venture to all these places.
Could you talk about a little bit more on your land bank and also your existing GDV? How long would it last you?
I think up north we still have land bank sufficient for close about 5 years, assuming I don't buy any new land.
Right.
And in KL, for the next 3.5 years to 4 years.
Your father, Datuk Paduka Bey, Heng Siong, co-founded Eupe in 1986. And your wife, Dati Michelle Gan, is head of marketing here. And two of you have worked together for over 10 years already. Would you say it is your shared views or shared strengths that has taken Eupe to what it is today?
Eupe is more than just 3 of us. Eupe is about the whole group of people, people who were with us and people who are still with us. Their contribution and their sacrifice has made it what it is today.